I'm in the middle of trying to create the life I want and I'm struggling. Transitions are hard. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I'm creating the life I imagine for myself. I will also tell you the two things that I'm struggling with right now to get to that vision. I'm planning to travel full-time in retirement. That doesn't mean that that is what you should do. Everyone has to make their own choices. And remember that not making a choice is a choice. Even a conscious decision with pros and cons weighed out has an emotional side to it. I'll tell you how I figured out what I want to do. I'll go over the difference between long-term travel and full-time travel and what I'm doing to prepare for this life transformation. I'll talk about fear and overwhelm too, what I do when one of those crops up. My name is Lydia, and I have been doing solo long-term travel for the past 2 years. I'm a teacher, so I have summer breaks and various other breaks where I can travel. And when I realized that seeing different parts of the world is what I want to do, I decided not to wait until retirement and go ahead and travel. I've been easing into full-time solo travel. Last summer, I traveled through several countries in Europe over 7 weeks. This spring, I had an incredible trip to Victoria Falls in Africa. And just last month, I spent 4 weeks in Italy, Croatia, and Montenegro. Sounds great, right? It is. But it's also a stressful time with a lot of decisions to make. I've never prepared for retirement before. Throw on top of that selling my home and possibly my car, and it's very stressful. Emotionally, it's one of those times where I find that two things can be true at the same time. I love my friends and family here at home, and I want to travel. So here is the difference between long-term travel and full-time travel. Long-term travel is having a home base in one country and going for long periods of time. The end of the trip could be open, but eventually you return to your home base. This is the kind of travel I've been doing for the last 2 years, and most of it solo. Sometimes I meet up with a relative or a friend or a group, but a lot of the time I travel alone. Full-time travel, on the other hand, is having no permanent home base and just traveling. Maybe you come back to your home country for a visit or some domestic travel, but then you're back out in the world traveling. This is the kind of travel that I am envisioning for retirement. I know a lot of people want to go solo traveling. It seems to be very popular now, and for good reason. If you don't have someone to go with, or you just want to go by yourself, why shouldn't you go? Lots of reasons, right? I've never done it before. What if I make a mistake? What if I feel self-conscious? What will others think of me? What if my loved ones at home need me? What if I get in some kind of dangerous situation? Many of these reasons boil down to fear. This is how I deal with fear. Accept it. All emotions are there for a reason. Fear is there to protect you. Acknowledge it and embrace it. Give it some of your time and energy. Ask it what it wants. Talk to it. Listen. It's okay to slow your roll. However, it doesn't mean you should stop your roll. If you need to go through a change or you want to go through a change, you should. Recognize fear, allow it to inform you. Decide if the danger is real, because sometimes it's just our imagination. Otherwise, thank fear for bringing up the question or the pause. Let it ride beside you while you make the final decision, especially if you haven't even tried it yet. Once you're doing it, the hard thing, you can change your mind at any point, but at least give it a go. That way you won't have that regret later in life. Another thing I'm dealing with is feeling overwhelmed. This often shows up for me as inaction or contemplation, like analysis paralysis. I just kind of stall. I'm thinking about all the things I need to do, and I just kind of stand there or sit there or scroll there. Sometimes I start doing something or several things and I don't finish it. To mitigate that feeling of being overwhelmed, I have 4 tips. The first one is talk with trusted friends or a therapist about what you're going through. Now, I'm not talking about just any friend. You need to talk to that supportive friend. Some friends can be very negative and fearful, and we have enough of our own fear. We don't need to deal with someone else's fear and projection. Sometimes just talking out loud with someone you trust can really help you sort things out. The second tip is do one thing at a time. When you're going through a big life transition, it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the things you need to do. Instead of making endless to-do lists like I tend to do, just do one thing at a time. Sometimes I say to myself, close the loop, Lydia, meaning finish the task that I started. You want to be monotasking instead of multitasking. Like I say, I'm talking to myself here a lot. The third tip is, if at all possible, celebrate each thing you do to acknowledge that you are on your way without waiting for the outcome. The fourth tip for being overwhelmed is to remember how helpful deep breaths and meditation are. So do you relate to any of these things that I'm going through? What big life change do you have coming up next? Please leave a comment and share that if you want to, or you can ask me any questions in the comments. And please subscribe to help my channel grow and also to grow this community of people doing hard things. If you want some tips on things you can do to keep yourself safe before you travel, watch this video next.